So that break, am I right? How's it going, everybody? My name's Take to Action. I bring satisfaction with the action, with directed from Blending of Hell, and this is officially my update video for 2024, baby! So throughout the 4 years going to 5, I really haven't actually done videos like these, mostly because I just kind of like post the updates on like social media and fucking my Discord server, but hey, I thought a video would be neat right now, especially considering this is easier for people to view. So let's start with the big topic in the room. How do you feel, Tay, after doing an event that lasted 3 months?
You're about to die. What the?
Oh, fuck it. Hatsune. Hey, Hachi Mishima!
This thing is fun.
Tired. Yeah, after doing that event, it was fun, it was really good. I generally enjoyed all the people that came by and watched and just, you know, helped out when they could. And we did raise like a good bit of money and just got a couple of new things for the channel and whatnot. It was a pretty good event. However, it has left me a little drained. For anybody who was watching the stream, y'all definitely could have seen I was just starting to get a little tired. I really was doing streams almost every day. I couldn't really enhance or do anything new because I was worried about, like, you know, having to perform that day. So it was kind of starting to limit a little bit of the content that I was doing. And if not, was kind of making the content a little unable to be managed during it. But with that being said, I'm actually trying to work on updating a lot of the content around my channel to be a little bit more stabilized, and not only that, to actually try and have a schedule. Oh, and before I get into like all the content and stuff and just like the channel updates, I do want to mention I did post a survey in my server and on my social media about to see like just things people want changed or just little things to go on. In this sense, I did get a couple of responses, and I'm basically going to show them off here for a little bit of a funny. So with that, let's get started onto the first topic, content. So first and foremost, I just want to say, I'm going to be doing a little bit more solo streams as of late. I did love having as much people that came by around, and generally it was a sweet time hanging with everybody, but I also felt like it was a little overwhelming, and I was kind of starting to get a little silenced out, especially considering I have like those moments where I just kind of do long pauses of silence while everybody's just talking and plays the game. Again, it's not really on the people, it's just like, I need to be more talkative, or at least just kind of like show a little bit more flash and personality to these streams a lot. I feel like it would be great for everybody if, you know, they got to like really hear the director speak a little bit more and just kind of like, you know, be just her and kind of doing her own thing. And with solo streams, this also means I can be playing more games that are simple to like do highlights for, or at least just have like a more ongoing sort of thing with them. And hey, this could also lead to me playing some new games by myself as well, which kind of would be interesting to see. I will say, if I do like do these solo streams, there is a chance that I might invite like 1 or 2 people on. Not given chance every time, but just would be nice to have generally around if I really need it, especially if it's like a horror game, because if it's a horror game, I'm gonna be scared shitless. I need somebody to hold my hand. I am not playing Amnesia, but instead of new stuff, how about we talk about the old stuff? Retro games are gonna be a little bit more different on the channel, as I'm actually gonna be giving them a bit more of a spotlight reel, to say the least, as I'm basically gonna be introducing a new thing called a Came from the Yard Sale, in which I check out a bunch of games, randomly scroll through like a selection on a wheel from many different consoles, and just kind of play them for like an hour or so, and see what's all the hype up about, and if it's a pretty good game. This could lead to some interesting choices being seen and whatnot, but hey, it would actually be kind of fun, and it fits my sort of theme of just being a little bit of random miscuous, so I would be loving that. Oh, and depending on the game, I might actually be down to kind of like trying, like, I might be down to do a full stream with it, depending on this. Like, let's say Super Mario RPG, or like, you know, a big Final Fantasy game. I wouldn't mind putting some time into like actually putting a full stream and multitude of things until it's beaten with some games. But hey, this is a cool way to handle retro stuff. And now, next for the big two to talk about when it comes to the content updates. fighting games and scheduling. Now, fighting games most importantly is basically going to be having its own day, switching either from Friday and Saturdays depending on the week, and it's going to be me playing like fighting games, open lobbies with the community that I have, and just like, you know, maybe some other communities. This was mostly thanks to that one stream I did with Strive and how actually successful it kind of was, and also just generally how I've been told people had a fun time with it, and I want to at least do more of that, and maybe, if anything, with some other fighting games, because there's programs like Fightcade, there's new shit like Tekken 8. I may not be able to play Tekken 8 at the moment, but hey, that's a possibility for the future. And again, there is a lot of other stuff I can be doing and checking out. So having an open lobby day, and maybe even some online matches just in general beforehand would be pretty cool. I will say, if anything, if I do these, friends definitely do come first when it comes to entering in these lobbies. I wouldn't mind having the community join in, but friends definitely get a little bit of a priority, I would say. And besides that, on the 10-Sun schedule, I am basically not going to be streaming as much as I am, or like kind of used to, because I basically streamed almost every day. It was tiring, it was not good for me in any capable way, and it just was not good work ethics when it comes to like handling shit. If anything, I'm only going to be streaming 4 or 5 days a week. They're going to be on a schedule, meaning that they will actually be kind of like timed and made sure shit will go well. Of course, the schedule can change because of like some family stuff that could be going on, or maybe even some other things and whatnot just happening. But still, I'm now at least going to be having somewhat of stability. And also, thanks to the poll, I might actually have a good time frame. Streams are kind of going to be moved a little bit. I'm planning on actually making it more closer to like 5 p.m. EST or 9 p.m. EST. So it's going to be like in the afternoons to evenings, most likely. Some people still are down for like 2 p.m. EST, so depending on the day, I might start then. But at the moment, shit's actually starting to change, and I'm kind of surprised, so I generally just am down with it. I wouldn't mind doing a little bit of something different. For just like another quick thing on the content, I basically am going to be kind of, depending on the day, limiting the amount of people that stop by, as, again, it kind of was a little bit too much for some cases. It was fun, but there was a lot of voices kind of going on, and I think it's a little hard to kind of like not only just like get what's happening, but also kind of listen in on the streamer and just like, you know, the stuff like beat about. And like, again, I want to at least kind of show off a little bit more stuff that I can do, or at least like, talk, say, you know, it's much easier to like kind of do these things by yourself with that, but again, I also don't want to like just not have anybody people, so if anything, things in polls that there was like a couple of recommended amount of people to have around, or just like generally how many people could like handle. One person said 100. If I were to ever have 100 people in one call, I think my head would explode. Some people said in between like 10 and 20s, which a little lot, but that could be good for like the fighting game nights or something like that. I would say granted some of them may have them mute, but hey, it's pretty fine. But if anything, most people do agree like the general number 5 is good. In my sense, I would want to have like 2 or 3 when it comes to like 2 or 3 people, including me, when it comes to like solo stuff and just like smaller or like longer games. And when it comes to like multiplayer stuff or just like fight nights, I feel like 10 is fine, but I would rather keep it to like 5 or 6 people, maybe 7 in the call at least, but just like having, you know, the fun's pretty good. Also, last thing before I forget, y'all who voted on like which is your favorite taste, I am so glad that the blending design is y'all's favorite, or at least a good 45% of y'all's favorite, because it took a good portion of like the responses I got. If anything, Lust is in 2nd place, and the Locust form is in 3rd. Rap's actually in 4th, and Greed of Violence, they got people. Oh, and in the sense of, like, longer games, I did ask, and a good 68% of y'all did say, yeah, maybe I should finish my games more. But yeah, with that out of the way, now we can get into the next topic, the community. Now, going forth from, like, this whole subathon event, I kind of realized something, or at least just, it was more obvious, especially during the 3 months. I really don't get to interact with my community a whole too much, and honestly, I feel like I should do it at least a little bit more, or at least try and, like, make the whole place kind of feel a little bit more lively, because, like, again, I don't really do too much. I do, like, chat in there, talk about it, and, like, hang around in, like, some servers, but again, I feel like I could be doing more. I am basically going to be bringing back watch parties to the server. Yeah, it's been, like, a full-on while since I did them, and I would think it would be pretty neat if we did. The first idea that I was having with, like, the watch party was going to be, special, like, special sort of thing for my server because of just how much I like it. I was thinking of introducing Tubular Turtle Thursdays, in which we watch episodes from, like, the TMNT series, going from the 1987 to maybe the fucking rise of the TMNT. And if anything, we could be doing a little bit of hopping and skipping when it comes to some episodes, because again, some series are much longer than others. And with bringing in watch parties, this also means I'm actually going to be bringing in some movie nights as well. This will lead into watching some classics, or maybe even just watching suggested movies from the server, and just getting everybody's opinion of, like, what they will kind of want to see. Now, the movie nights are going to be, like, on the weekend, if anything, and that's mostly because it is just, like, I already got a lot going on, so I do need to kind of, like, have a little bit of spare time in some hand. So I would try and, like, make them either a Saturday or Sunday night thing, depending on how people would want it. It is something that I should be trying to do more, especially considering I have the whole movie aesthetic, so having watch parties makes sense to do, and it would be pretty fun. I will also say the Discord server is slowly being updated so people can give me at least a little bit more insight on a lot of more things, especially with what they would kind of want to see in it, what upgrades should I do in it, some stream suggestions, or just generally to ask me anything, kind of what's going on. I will also mention, did you know, if you sub to me on Twitch, you have a section of the server called Showbiz Time, in which you can also give suggestions. There will be updates on future stuff that's going to be happening around the channel and whatnot, and just, like, art early, and there is also that exclusive chat, so you can kind of, like, at least, you know, have a better chance chatting with me if I don't usually message in general. I try to, but again, you know, I want to remind y'all that this is an option, and, like, please do use it. It would be pretty neat. And with that, I think that's all really the updates I'm going to be doing with community. I may also, like, try and hop into, like, VC sometimes, because that could also be, like, a little bit of fun too. No full-on promises, but hey, movie nights is pretty good, and a whole section for you to recommend just me stuff and whatnot is also pretty good, I'm pretty sure. Alright, so with that out of the way, I think it's about time to go into a little bit of a serious topic, which is generally being my health. In good news, from at least at the moment, there is no major health problems I have besides, like, fucking blood pressure, but if anything, that's at least manageable to fix. And in better news, I actually recently have been going to therapy, or at least I'm about to get some therapy sessions thanks to my provider, so that's also going to be really great to have soon, and generally will be much easier for my mind's sake. It's just, there's just been a lot of stuff that kind of goes on, and it'd be great to have, like, some professional help to really talk about it, so I'm really excited with this information, if anything. And it's good that I'm getting therapy sessions, because as of late, I've actually picked up something pretty bad. In short, your girl's been dealing with a lot of stress-induced fevers, or at least a feeling of one, because I looked it up, and because every time I kind of feel, like, off, discomfort, or just, like, generally not at ease, feel like I'm on fire, and I mean, like, blazing on fire, and to the point, I thought it was just like a fucking hot flash, like if anything, which, you know, it's more manageable and understandable to deal with, but no, if anything, it's definitely been a stress that's been causing me to feel like this sort of heat. In general, like, I'm fine, but I am trying to, like, kind of work through it to kind of see what could be really the deal in causing it. It's not going to stop content or anything, but it might just slow things a little bit down, just so I can keep it in check. But yeah, with that being said, that basically covers up all the health stuff. So we're going to move on to one of the last two topics, which is the goals I have planned this year. So when it comes to goals this year, I feel like they're all really feasible, and I think I can manage to get most of these done. It does require a little bit of work, but I'm willing to put into it. When it comes to the goals, we have 5,000 followers by the end of the year on Twitch, 1,000 followers on YouTube, and affiliate on TikTok, well, that means something, pretty much. I'm also thinking about getting an editor as of late because it would help me make more videos in the sense of doing, like, you know, TikToks and highlights. And with that, I will need money, but that will be okay since we have the donation goals. The donation goals are nothing more than just like goals for the channel monthly, and they are made so I can help fund some extra project, art, or anything else that I probably need to do some more content. Highest donators that help out when it comes to these monthly goals gets to have their game choice streamed, and all donators of the month will get a special shout out on vids or just like you know, streams. So it would be great if y'all could think about helping out when it comes to this. And this also does go into sub goals, which if you sub, you will get into a special section of my server to do more stuff and see early access. There is a lot of stuff you can get if you sub, and I would very much recommend it. Okay, now with all that's being said, here's the final topic of the day that we're going to be talking about, and that's future projects. Up on the list is Kaijun plans, where basically I'm going to be planning a little bit ahead for Kaijun this year, giving up some new art, possibly some events, maybe hanging out with some other Kaiju tubers. All the more to keep on looking out for it. Then after that, we do have a couple of video ideas that I'm planning to do, such as a mecha video or a video about backlogs, which generally would be on the topic of just how immense they can be and hard to play through it, and generally ways to kind of get around it. Also, speaking of June, I'm actually going to be lending my hand into the VTuber SummerSlam, hosted by the Gamers Outreach, to bring the community together and help out a bunch of kids who could use very much like games and stuff like that in the dark places there are hospitals, because let's be honest, places are terrible like that, and they can use some entertainment. I'm still working on what I'm going to be doing for the event, but trust me, it's going to be good. As for like a couple of changes and stuff like that, I'm removing myself from like Fansly and maybe Picardo, because I generally do not use them as much, and either we'll be there to kind of like check on friends stuff and whatnot, or did use it, but just like only for a little bit, and even if it did help, it generally is not where I want to put my content on. That being said, I may do some pixel streams in the future because somebody did recommend it, and it would be an interesting idea to possibly check out. I will be thinking about releasing a new Tay at some point, but there is no current plans on when, and nothing is concrete at the moment. If you would like to speed up the process, I very much do recommend supporting me through Ko-fi or my streams. It would generally be able to help me get like enough money to maybe fund the new Tay pretty early. Or who knows, maybe even another like insect character like Locust Tay. At some point I may be doing a month marathon for a couple of series. I'm very much still thinking of what series I'm going to be doing it for, but a couple ideas were going to be Kirby, No More Heroes, Dragon Ball, One Piece, considering Naruto, but I don't know about that one, and maybe a couple other ones. I wanted to do like that again because I generally did have fun despite how I sounded with the Sonic Marathon, and it did end on a pretty good note with the last game I played, so it'd be neat to try it again. By the end of this month, I'm planning on hosting a Tay Chat redesign showcase in which I'm going to be showing off all of my community's redesigns of what they would do with my clothing for me. So maybe it could lead into like new PNG artwork with their design, or you know, something else could happen. I just want to see what y'all's interpretation of me would be if I were to let you take a little control on it, you know? And last but not least, thanks to the polls that I posted up on my server, I might actually be leaning to doing more new content. This could go into possibly cooking streams, art streams, show and tell, talking and chilling more, which that's generally going to be the plan when it comes to this year. Talking about movie genres and just like movies in general, which that would be a really cool thing to do. Bringing in friends to kind of shoot the shit and whatnot. And maybe even just going back and building model kits. I do have 3 model kits on standby that I do need to build for, so it would be really cool. But yeah, that's really it. I don't know how long this video is probably going to be, but I am pretty sure Tay is screaming with the amount of stuff that she had to kind of like edit in. But yeah, that is it for now. And if anything, I do hope you all have a good day. I plan to be back pretty soon. And once I do come back, we're gonna be playing some cool games in a reasonable amount of time given. Alrighty. With that being said, this is Take Two Action signing off, and curtains. I hope you have a wonderful day.